Room 237 is a JumperScape audio production. Oh, what a terrible fate you've fallen to, stranger. You're now locked in Room 237.
Hello and welcome back into Room 237. Guess what month it is?
It's October.
It's Halloween. So this is a busy time for us. It is one, it's the spooky month, so I want to put out some bangers. Two, I also want to do all the spooky things this month, and it feels like a month isn't long enough.
No,
so
it's not.
We got started last week with what I was calling Halloween with Beetlejuice, but this week, what are we doing?
So this week we watched Haunt 2019. I have no other information because IMDb would not load for me at all today.
Yeah, so I don't think he directed this movie. I'm 90% sure he did not direct this movie. I'm pretty sure he's just a producer, but this is an Eli Roth picture. And he's known for like Hostel and gore movies, basically. And it is essentially, what if Extreme Hunt tried to kill you? The movie. So me and Ashton are both kind of have become like haunt aficionados. We both, as in we enjoy them.
Okay, I was gonna be like,
we're not experts. I've always wanted to be a scare actor. I thought that'd be really fun.
It could be fun. I wouldn't really like getting punched in the face, though.
Yeah, but you know, that's part of the job.
Also, excuse my voice and the sniffles. I am just dueling with fall allergies right now. Like, I am throwing so many punches you don't understand. But it's still like knocking the wind out of me. So
I mean, it's worth it for the nice chilly fall air.
Yeah,
except it's not chilly fall air here.
It's not. It's actually humid fall air right now because we're getting like hit with the like remnants of the hurricane, and it's annoying.
Yeah, I'm just ready for it to be 50 degrees.
I'm done with the summer stuff. Let's get fall around here.
Yeah. So this is a movie that I think doesn't really have that much of a plot, but it does try, if that makes sense.
It definitely does try, but it makes the main character the most dislikable main character I've seen in a horror movie thus far.
Because it tries to say a lot about trauma without really saying anything about it. It feels almost
forced. It feels completely forced. It
maybe
feels like
even a little exploitive, not even in a good, like, it just feels like you're forcing in a serious issue.
They're like,
to make it feel deeper.
Crap. Horror movies like aren't just blood and guts anymore. We can't just make a blood and guts horror movie.
When that's what they should have done.
Let's add trauma to it. And it made their main character look dumb. And it added these weird scenes that just kind of are like, hey, are you traumatized?
My house was haunted.
Oh my God.
My life. And it makes her say insufferable weird poetry like that. But so we basically at the beginning of the movie are introduced to our band of college students.
Aren't we gonna do our review first?
Yeah, I got ahead of myself.
Yeah,
I guess we've been doing kind of different types of reviews recently.
Yeah.
I already lost the formula.
Yeah, so as you guys know, it was all Scream recently, and then Beetlejuice and Beetlejuice. So Beetlejuice was like kind of a conglomerate. So we did reviews in a different sort of way.
Yeah.
Now we gotta like go back to, hey, this movie's about what if a haunted house tried to kill you?
And that's essentially all you need to go. That's the hook, basically. That's all you really need to know going in.
There's really no big pull to characters. There's really no big plot points to expose.
It's kind of a throwback in the way of it's basically just a ensemble cast of people of different backgrounds that are a group of friends and they're there to die.
Yep.
Is essentially your formula.
That's the plot.
And
let's all die.
It's more about the setting is what makes it fun.
Exactly.
So it's weird because this movie came out a year after a movie called Hellfest. I don't know if you've heard of that movie.
No.
It was a big budget compared to this version of the same premise, except it was more of a haunt, like a haunt amusement park where something goes wrong.
Oh.
In that one, it's just like one guy who's snuck in and he's like killing people in the houses. You know, it's not the actual haunt itself. That's like
scary, actually.
Yeah, but it's PG-13.
Oh.
And that movie also had a really cool setting, and because they filmed it, they actually used a Six Flags water park and transformed it into a haunted like amusement park
kind of
deal.
Cool.
And it was and it's kind of funny that these movies are essentially a similar premise, came out around the same time, like within the same year-ish.
Sometimes when things like that happen, I wonder who was sitting like next to who else in like a restaurant or something, and like they overheard it, and then they were like, gosh, that's a great idea for a movie, and then they both accidentally make like a very similar movie to each other because they both were sitting in a restaurant and just overheard the other person's idea and was like, oh
yeah,
that's cool.
But if my background knowledge of this movie is to be trusted, because like I said, the way this show works is zero research. We watch the movie and we go. But I do know a little bit about this movie off the back of my brain. It was basically kind of like a homegrown project for the director, the writer, and like the team that worked on this movie. In fact, the clown is played by like one of their like buddies who never acted before in his life, which I just think is fun.
That is fun.
And it just has a big difference from Hellfest, which is this really big budget PG-13, get as many kids in the theater as possible kind of movie.
Well, I think part of it is like you can kind of sense the fact that it's like not the most like, it's not a blockbuster. You can sense that it doesn't have the biggest budget. It's not like,
I'm pretty sure this went straight to streaming.
And so I feel like that adds to the tone of it. Like these kind of haunts, the extreme haunts, they're not like, you know, they become big budget ball outs, but they start as homegrown like entities. And so I think it adds to the atmosphere because you can kind of feel it. You can also see it with the CG. That's bad.
Because I think it really tackles like a pretty topical, especially in 2019, kind of what if. And that is, what if one of these extreme haunts, like a McKamey Manor, for instance.
That guy sucks.
You know, yeah. We watched a documentary that I watched a while ago. It's called Haunters. It used to be on Netflix. I think it's on Shudder and Tubi now.
Everything except for that guy is it's a fantastic documentary, except for the fact that guy is all freaking over it. We had to skip through most of the thing because
I can't.
What did
his
he
face.
say? He said something really early on, and I said, "This guy's gross, and I never want to see him again."
I think someone asked him like about like basically his sadism, and he was like, "It's about the footage. I love the footage."
That
and
was
like
that.
That's so creepy.
That he was already creepy, but like to a withstandable point, and then it was it being about the footage and stuff that put me over the edge. I was like, "And you, sir, are disgusting, and you're getting off to this. So let's just."
So when you have a guy like Russ McKamey who exists, a premise like this doesn't feel as unbelievable.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That maybe
not.
there's a more underground like little haunt that takes it a little further in that they are gonna kill you. Like it makes it. It's still a bit out of reach of the realm of possibility, but it makes it more believable. That
He
something
makes
like
it
this could
pretty
happen.
believable. If you watch just one interview, you'd be like, huh.
I mean, he's in jail for attempted murder right now.
Doesn't shock me.
So
Doesn't shock me. Not at all.
Rest in piss, Russ McKamey. I hate you.
But on to rating of the movie.
Yeah. How many of Mitch's faces would you give this movie out of 10?
Can I be so for real? I love Mitch's face. I thought it looked so freaking cool.
It was freaky. Okay, here's the thing. Here's my problem with it. And I guess we'll get to it. We're getting into spoilers here. I liked his makeup the best, but in the context of what their makeup was, because it was like, they don't talk about it that much, but basically the killers are all body modification freaks.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that you'd see in like Ripley's Believe It or Not that scared you as a kid, like the lizard man with the split tongue. They're all like that. The rest of them all looked like this is body modification that could be done. He just looked like a burn victim.
Yeah.
But it
with
was also the
extra
best
body modification.
Yeah, but it was also the spookiest in my opinion.
Yeah, I liked it. How many Mitch's faces am I giving this movie?
Because he asks if they want to see his face a stupid amount of times.
He does. 7.
I'm right there with you.
7 Mitch's faces out of 10.
7.
I mean, it's a watch.
It is a watch. It is a movie that is fun. It's a Halloween, like, it's a good Halloween movie.
I don't think I'm
not too
gonna
deep.
watch it again.
No,
like,
me neither.
But
I remember liking it a little more the first time I watched it.
I think it hurts it that I pointed out how much I hated the main character.
Yeah, she can be a little. I think towards the end it's fine. Like she's okay, but in the middle section, especially of the movie, she's very melodramatic.
Oh my gosh, she's just annoying.
I don't think that's not the actress's fault. It's just the way that.
No, it was written terribly.
A lot of this movie is not written very well. I think the beginning of this movie works.
Yeah.
Because you could tell there's probably a lot of improving going on.
It just feels casual. But then once we get into where it starts to be scripted, that's why the backstory just feels really like
tacky.
Forced and tacky. But so we open in this like college town. It says, where did it say Illinois?
Yeah, somewhere in Illinois.
It said like University of Illinois, something like that. And it said it was campus housing. I'm hoping they mean like the neighborhood that all the kids buy the houses.
I think that's more what they meant.
Because if this is campus housing, like the university provides this housing and students pay for it, I want to go to this freaking school. I want a whole house.
Yeah, I think it was more meant to like be like the Greek houses, like, you know, they sometimes have a lot of them on one street.
That would be they're not Greek houses.
Oh, yeah, they didn't have letters on them.
And those aren't Greek houses. The Greek houses look like a house from a front and then basically have a whole dorm behind them. Because that's how many people have to live there.
Well, shows how much I know.
Yeah. Or they're mansions.
Well, shows how much I know.
But yeah, no, it looks like, you know, the neighborhood that's like just off the main street that you can still walk to the university from, that everyone buys all these houses that are pretty much like rotting because the landlords know that they have cheap rent. The landlords know that the tenants are going to move out in, you know, a certain amount of months. So normally the houses are falling apart because the landlords don't do anything about them. So it's those houses, but they did not present it in that way. And I went, campus housing.
But this is where we kind of meet our characters. Like, we were very poorly introduced to most of them. I feel like they say each other's names like once.
Yeah, they didn't say each other. I think there's said Harper,
who's the main
main character. They said her name.
There's Bailey, who's her friend.
Yeah, played by China Anne McClain's sister. I don't know which one of them, but one of them. It's a McClane sister because she opens this movie and I went, oh, China Anne McClain.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, wait a minute, that's not China Anne McClain. And then we paused the movie and it still said McClain. And I was like, it's one of the sisters. Oh.
I don't know who these people are.
You don't know who China Anne McClain is?
No.
Like Ant Farm, Descendants. I'm trying to think of other popular culture things she's done. And I can only think of Disney things that she's done.
I stopped watching Disney Channel when I was like 9. So this is all beyond me.
Ant Farm isn't that far beyond you.
What's Ant Farm?
You never watched Ant Farm?
Oh, what? No, now it sounds familiar. What was the show about?
It was about a group of kids that were in like the exceptional program because they were prodigies at specific things. And they had to go to regular high school with high schoolers, but they were called ants.
Yeah, this sounds familiar, but I didn't watch it. I was like beyond my time.
Oh.
Sorry.
You don't know the Calling All the Monsters lore. Guess what I'm sending you tonight? Because I have to do homework and we can't hang out tonight. Calling All the Monsters by China Anne McClain. That
actually sounds familiar.
Yeah, because it's like Thriller, Calling All the Monsters. Great music videos for Halloween.
But they go to the clubs for Halloween.
They get like bottle service
with a tarantula, and it's like apparently imported and it's fancy.
I'm like, how rich are these kids?
Rich. Do you see where they live?
Either way, like I said, normally those houses are like super cheap rent.
Well, those ones look nice.
They're rotting on the inside, James.
Yeah, but still. They got bottle service. This is enough evidence that they have rich parents. But that's where we meet baseball boy. I forget his name.
Shoot, I have it.
He had a name.
Nathan. He looks like a Nathan.
He does look like a Nathan. So yeah, he's wearing his baseball uniform as a costume. Lame. And then there's annoying Seth Rogen type who's dressed as the human centipede, but the other parts of the centipede didn't show up. So he's mad.
They said probably because they didn't want to eat ass for the whole night.
I mean, yeah.
You know what? Valid.
And, they are certainly college students.
Yeah.
That's all we really know.
And part of what we know about Harper is that she is currently with an abusive boyfriend.
Yeah, first shot we get of her is her putting makeup on a black eye.
Yeah.
So, bummer.
Yeah.
But
also with and it shows a picture of this said boyfriend on her phone, and I swear every abusive boyfriend looks like this on their girlfriend's phone.
Like this?
Like they have that picture of the two of them together, and the girl looks really happy, and the guy looks kind of like. it just always looks like that. I don't know why.
It's probably a good thing that neither of us can make an accurate version of that face.
No. Yeah. But basically they all decide to go to this haunted house, and she sees that someone's following them. It seems like it's presumed to be her boyfriend. I'm guessing it's not, but
that's the thing, is they got picked to go to this haunted house because they got a flyer for it that just kind of appeared like for them.
Oh yeah.
Now I think the pumpkin that got thrown at their door was him because it looked like his truck.
Yeah.
But in terms of in the streets, you literally see the guy in the devil costume.
Oh, that's right. We do
in the
see
alleyway.
him. Yeah, we do see him.
And because that's what makes her think that that's him.
So they, try to get away from this guy following them, and they find this haunted house, which turns out to be the one from the flyer.
Yep.
And they go up to the haunted house, and there's this clown out front. First red flag, the clown is wearing latex gloves.
Black latex gloves.
Yeah.
Which is a small detail to the tattooing thing, because they always wear the black latex gloves.
Yeah.
And I like that you see the group ahead of them going in. Because I think it kind of sells the legitimacy.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, see, there's other people here,
Right. Because if there was no other people there, I would have been like, we're leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
He does this little gag where he like hides the key behind their ear, and he does all, it was in your ear the whole time. And as they're signing the waiver, they hear someone, they're like starting to maybe question, and then they hear someone scream like for real.
Yeah.
But they go, oh no, we're definitely going in. Like,
yeah, that sells them.
And so the waiver has, your usuals, your follow instructions, follow the pathways,
don't touch the scare
don't
actors.
touch the scare actors. You're gonna have to put your phones in a lockbox, and you'll get it back at the end. You can hold on to the key.
Yeah, which is very, very much sounds more like an extreme haunt to me, because there was that one
Blackout.
Yeah.
Well, you're not allowed to take pictures inside of any haunt.
Yes, true.
That is a rule, but the reason behind that is also spoilers.
Yeah.
A lot of these places don't want people to know fully what's going to happen inside, because it adds to the fear.
Yeah.
So it's like swept under the rug is just being kind of something like that, and
they all
you usually aren't going to get your phone taken away.
Yeah, I've never experienced that. I think Blackout they did take
probably, and I think McKamey
electronics.
Manor did too.
But
They
McKamey Manor just posted everything that happened on the online anyway. So
Not all of it. Think about how long some of those things lasted, and they were cut down into like 5-minute videos. That's the scary thing about McKamey Manor.
Yeah,
is there's stuff that they probably did to people that no one's seen.
I'm not gonna think about it. But so they put their phones in the lock boxes. They go into the haunted house. It looks like just your average kooky spooky kind of place for a while.
Skeleton.
Yeah, and then they come into a room, and our Seth Rogen type, as you put it, walks straight into a freaking like plexiglass thing. Like he went, there's a wall there. And a curtain opens, and we see this woman in a witch costume. She takes a hot poker out of this cauldron, and they pull in this girl dressed up in like a Halloween costume. Looks like maybe like a princess
She was from
costume.
the group before.
Yeah.
They like zoomed in on her.
And pokes her with the the hot prod. And
Then some smoke effects come up. So
they're all like,
are
"Oh,
little,
that's cool."
they're a little
cool.
like freaked by it, but they're like, "Oh yeah, that's an effect."
It's intense now.
And then they come up to my favorite little gag. They have 2 corridors. One says safe, and the other one says not safe. So the groups split.
Yeah.
I think we'll go with the folks going the not safe side first.
Yeah, because that's where the movie goes.
And the movie, for the most part, sticks with them. And so they
That's
go
'cause
through all
Harper's
kinds of
with
fun
them.
stuff. They go through a spider hallway with spiders.
With real spiders.
Like it starts with fake spiders, but then there's real spiders, and there's the one girl dressed as the flapper, and she's scared of spiders. Mallory, that's right.
She got a spider in her
She got in her hair.
It's my biggest freaking fear.
And And yeah, so that's spooky. And then they come up to these like coffin doors, and they figure out that like there's another door behind it, but it only opens when the coffin is closed.
Yeah.
So they each go through one at a time, and then when it's Mallory's turn, a little trap door opens up, and a real spider starts crawling over the ledge. And I don't know why. The way they shot this spider, I don't like it.
I don't like it at all.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I knew it too. The trap door opened and she had already gotten the spider stuck in her hair, and I was like, oh, there's gonna be so many spiders in a couple minutes. There's gonna be so many spiders.
And gee howdy were there. They started pouring
Gee howdy
in.
were there. What a way to say that.
And then she gets out and she's like brushing it all off. And then for some reason, Seth Rogen has a Party City receipt. He's like, see, it's fake spiders. They got all this shit at Party City like 3 days ago.
Which, interesting that they just left that laying around, but cool, I guess.
Yeah, I guess they're sloppy in some places.
But, yeah, so they go through there and they are prompted to go through this tunnel.
He looks straight out of like a backrooms like thing.
Yeah,
it has all these
looking.
arrows pointing at it, like go in. Like,
so they all go through this tunnel, and Harper like senses someone crawling through it.
And you see him vaguely.
Very, very vaguely. And they get out of the tunnel, and then Mallory is no longer with them.
Yep, but who is with them is the Red Devil man. He gets out and he starts doing ominous pointing, which happens a lot in haunted houses. You'll often just have some person, a scare actor, who just kind of goes, and it's freaky. So then that takes them to another door, which has a slide.
Yeah, and there's chainsaw sounds going on. They have all these like speakers around it. It's kind of cool and artistic looking.
Yeah, they have the chainsaw sound coming out of the speakers, and then it cuts out, and then you hear the chainsaw, like the audio changes.
Yeah.
And the chainsaw is definitely coming from down the slide.
Yeah.
Which is so confusing that they have such good audio moments like this, but at other moments, like the audio is like not even legible, and there's like dialogue that gets drowned out by background noise, and like there's a lot of weird moments like that in the movie.
Yeah.
That were like annoying, but
yeah, it was just weird.
Small movie, you're gonna have some little
stuff
bugs,
happens.
You know.
I wonder if maybe in the club scene they didn't remember to not play music, and so the audio sounds weird because they were trying to mute out the music in the background of the people speaking.
That's possible.
Because that's the only scene that I can tell you for sure the audio sounds really weird and really quiet. So I wonder if maybe that's what happened.
That's a possibility, I think.
But
but the chainsaw man comes and he's like trying to get them all scared with the chainsaw, and they're just kind of like going like, okay, dude, like we get it.
We get it. You got a chainsaw.
You know, and so like they're like, have you seen our friend? Okay, she was behind us. Now she's not.
Oh, and they proved that chainsaw is one of the fake chainsaws.
Yes,
because he touches one of the guys with the chainsaw.
Yes. So they then move on and open the door, and then they find everyone who went through the Safeway. So rewinding a little bit, they didn't really do much in the Safeway, but
no.
The only room we really got to see is there's this cut after they went through something intense. I forget which one. It cuts to Bailey and the girl dressed as a nurse, who is a nurse. Another case of someone wearing their uniform as a costume.
Yeah, I can't remember her name at all.
In front of funhouse mirrors, and they say, and here's the thing, they're not like laughing or anything. They're like, oh wow, and she goes, this is amazing.
Like,
and I'm like,
it's like,
have you
high.
never seen one before?
It's like they're high,
but they're not.
They're not. But
they all
like
seem strikingly sober throughout this movie, I will say.
Yeah,
and it makes me laugh every time that she's like going up and down in the funhouse mirror. This is amazing. Like she's like a baby who's never seen one before
Yeah.
or something. Like,
And they touch the mirror and find out there's no space between the mirror and the reflection, which means it's a two-way mirror. Every girl knows this. Fun fact. But so that's the
isn't
thing
it
they
weird that a
learn.
two-way mirror and a one-way mirror is the same thing?
Huh?
They both mean the same thing. Two-way mirror is the same as a one-way mirror. They're both names for a mirror that you can see on the other side.
Huh.
I don't know why. Maybe it's whatever side you're looking at it from is what you call it.
Maybe.
I don't know. Random tangent. But then they come up on the most classic of old school home haunts, and that's the reach in the hole and tell me what you're feeling, what organ it is.
Yeah.
Did you get to do this in elementary school?
Yeah.
Everyone did this in elementary school. Like they had their school's Halloween party and they had this little thing set up. And one of the teachers would be like, "You feel that? It's brains. You feel that? Those are eyeballs."
Yeah.
And it's spaghetti and grapes. So
there's normally one more, but I can't remember.
I can't remember what the other one is. I think it's, I don't remember.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
We had dried corn, and that was teeth.
That
might
might
have
be
been
it.
That
Or
might have been
candy
it.
corn, one of the two. Yeah.
But instead of dried corn teeth, it's razor blades.
Yeah, which the way they're placed later in the movie doesn't make sense.
No, I think the implication is because they said that you could hear footsteps on the other side. I think the implication is someone grabbed her arm and cut her with it because she got her arm stuck.
Right. It's still weird. Because yeah, whatever. It none of that this portion doesn't make too much sense, and it's where some of the bad CGI is, and I think the bad CGI is why it doesn't make any sense. Because if someone cuts you with a razor blade, it would be a lot worse than that. Instead of it just like, being in the thing or something.
Yeah, but ultimately it does just serve the shit got real
really fast.
And so it is implied that they ended up stuck in this room that the people who went through the not safe way end up at. So they're all trapped in this room. They're all scared and confused because they don't know what to do. And then they're in front of another window.
No, it's just literally a blocked off fence with a curtain behind it. So they don't even realize there's something there.
Okay, yeah.
And then the curtain suddenly opens.
And it's the witch again, with her poker.
Yeah.
And she's getting it heated up, and we see that it is Mallory, and she's tied up and presumably drugged.
Yeah.
Because she's not like freaking out or anything.
No, she's like asleep.
Yeah. And this time, instead of just a little poke and some smoke effects, she just gets stabbed through the head, and that's your "oh my god, this is real" moment.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Your real "this is real" moment, you know, because you had the cut, but like that was like a little cut,
Yeah.
That could be explained away by bad safety precautions.
Right.
So they devise a plan that one of the guys, and it's Nate, will go look ahead because they try to pick the lock, but it wasn't gonna work.
Why does everyone split up?
I don't know.
Did everyone watch too much Scooby-Doo? Is that what it is? Like,
Let's split up, gang.
Is that it? Is that why?
I think
we
it's a
all
factor.
think?
I think it's a factor of everyone else being too scared to go.
Yeah.
So it just took a man of action, I guess. The man of action took the key for the lockbox and managed to drop it inside of a grate.
And while he's going and being heroic, our freaking main character is sitting there with her friend who's like bleeding out because she's just been cut on the wrist the right way. They always show you this way, but this is the way if you want someone to bleed out. Fun fact. cut on her wrist and is bleeding out, basically, essentially. They made her a little tourniquet, which is probably helping a lot. But she's sitting there talking to her friend who's bleeding out, and she's like, my house used to be a haunted house. My daddy used to beat my mommy. And every night I have a nightmare that when I knock on the door, he's gonna be there. And it's just like...
But then, it's her. My mom.
It's just my mom.
And my house isn't haunted anymore.
And we're like,
Shut
up.
Like,
this is not the place, girl. The characters aren't. The characters are like, I know. You're like the best girl, Harper. And like, I love you more than anything. But like, me watching the movie is like, shut up. I actually wrote in this moment, most hateable main character award, Harper.
She really doesn't like
I really don't like Harper. I think the way she's written is terrible. But yeah.
But back with Nate, or Nathan, or Nathaniel. I'm not 100% sure. I think I've heard Nate. He enters the ghost room. It's a room full of bedsheet ghosts, and it's spooky as hell. And I would hate going through there.
No, that would be. I would literally like I would close my eyes and someone would have to direct me through the rest of the haunted house.
He has a little suspenseful moment with the ghost actor, and the ghost actor walks away, and then he just kind of thinks, "Go, hey, we have someone hurt." And knowing what we know, I'm wondering, did Mitch go, "Oh, I can do the funniest thing"? Because he turns around and he goes, "You said someone needs help?"
Yeah.
And he does such a good job of pretending to be genuine.
Like he comes into the room, with all the... He says, I need to go grab something. We don't really see what he grabs or does or anything. But that he comes into the room where all the girls are hurt and stuff. Because also the nurse girl, like... tried to reach for the poker to get something to take the hinges off, and she got her hand stepped on. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, this isn't supposed to happen. Like, it's supposed to look real, but it's not supposed to be real."
And goes, "Oh my God, is she bleeding?"
Yeah.
I'm like, I believe you, Mitch. But
I really did believe in Mitch there for a second.
The thing that's off is that he still won't take his mask off.
He won't take his mask off, and he also isn't telling them where to go, what to do, and what's the right like, hey, here's our emergency exit. This is how we get out.
He's just
letting them lead the charge.
We need to break this lock. And he's like, I have keys, man.
Yeah.
So he's a cool guy. I for a little bit at least. But they're like, he's like, we just got to go through the rest of the house.
He's still the coolest guy in this movie.
Yeah, like, and they're like, oh, what about our friend? You guys killed her. And he's like, she's not dead. It's a show. It's a little magic trick, basically. She's waiting at the exit for you guys, probably wondering where you are.
Yeah.
And
then they keep going backwards through the maze to find this emergency exit, which is actually just walled off. He was like, yeah, I mean, I didn't think there was an exit here. And they were like, why didn't you tell us?
He's so genuine about it because they open it and it's a brick wall. And he's like, huh. You see, yeah, like I was confused because I didn't remember there being an exit here.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's so good.
They're trying to decide where to go. And he's like, well, you're almost at the end of the haunted house. So going back through the first half of the house is probably going to take longer than going just through the end.
And you can find yourself kind of believing him a little bit. You're like, oh, he's making sense.
No, I'm sitting there going, and the dudes in the group start like threatening him and acting really weird. And I'm like, just follow the employee's directions. Like, just listen to him. Like, come on, he's trying to help you. Let's go.
Well, so Seth wrote, they get back to the little crawling tunnel thing. And Mitch is like, we have to go one at a time. He's like, there's this trap door that, like, if you go in with more than one person, it like drops them. It does this whole thing. That's how you get into the show.
Yeah.
Like, like he's really selling it like this is just business as usual. This is normal. This is all part of the show. And so Seth Rogen goes first, and then Mitch goes. And Mitch gets out, and from the way they shot him from a low angle that he's scary.
Yeah.
Now he's no longer Mitch, your friend. He's Mitch, your foe. Because he immediately just starts boarding up the exit.
And while all this is happening, Nathan goes to go through the tunnel next, and Harper hears somebody coming up from the other side, and the door starts jiggling, and she's like trying to hold the door closed, and the girls are still waiting there, and she's like, run, and they're like, but the trap door, like, what? There can't be more than one of us in there, and she's like, run, and the door flies open. It's the devil man, right?
Yeah, and here's the thing that's so wild about this bit is, like, because, like, Mitch has played it so cool, the way that the devil just kind of waltzes his way over to the girls as they're trying to get in the tunnel and just kind of coldly grabs the nurse lady and pulls her out and just goes,
yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, they're still evil.
Yeah.
Duh. Like, so Bailey gets in the tunnel, and Harper sneaks back out the door while he's, murdering.
Yeah.
So now everyone's separated. Because the trap door activates and Nate falls through it.
Bailey's just still in the tunnel.
Yep. And Seth Rogen is now out all the way outside, and the lockbox is gone.
Yep. And Harper is running from Devil Man. He ends up catching up to her, and she cowers in like a corner and just is like, please don't hurt me. And then she says Sam, which is her boyfriend's name, and he's like, who's Sam?
He takes off the mask. That's when we see Darth Maul for the first time.
Yeah, for real.
And he's like, who's Sam? He sounds genuinely kind of curious.
Like, I feel like the reason that Harper lives so long in this thing is because they're like, oh, wait, she's actually kind of interesting.
She can be our main character for the night.
Yeah, for real.
But this is when we get kind of a couple reveals, because we see that guy's face, and then we see the clown's face as he picks up the phone, because Sam calls Harper's phone. He picks it up. And he's like, "Hello, who is this?
Who are you trying to reach?"
Harper, my girlfriend." And he's like, "You're too late." Boop. And then
which I could see Sam reading as oh right, because she had sent him a text that said it's over.
Yeah. He's probably reading it as this is her new boy toy.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Seth Rogen outside, and Mitch has caught up, and he's like, where are all my friends? He's like, they're right behind me. Do you still want to see my face? He's like, no, it's fine, man. Whatever. I just want to go home. He's like, but you said you wanted to see my face. He keeps saying, like, this is not the thing you probably want to hear in this moment, is this guy just kind of go, do you still want to see my face? And it's kind of, this movie's edited so weird sometimes, because it basically kind of cuts right to Seth Rogen with a hammer blow to the head on the ground.
Yeah.
And shoots up to Mitch's face, which, as we described earlier, he looked like a burn victim, kind of. All of their faces are meant to mimic the costumes they're wearing.
Yeah, they're all supposed to mimic the mask they have on.
So he's a ghost, so he's supposed to look, I guess, like a ghost.
Yeah, he has like a weird off-brand ghost-faced costume on, honestly.
Yeah, it's very...
all white, kind of Clancy.
It's very old school Halloween costumes, because you have the ghost, the witch, the devil, and you have Dracula, and there's zombie, like very generic, and clown. That's clown. And they all have body modifications under their mask for, I guess, when it gets real.
Yeah, I mean, and I kind of took when I looked at Mitch's face for the first time, because I saw it looking like a burn victim too with extra modifications, that these might be people who have been like burn victims or victims of something, and the body modifications are to cover up said issues.
Possibly.
That's what I read off of Mitch only.
'Cause
Honestly.
the rest of them, like especially the devil guy, he just looks like the lizard man, but devil.
He looks like he one day he's gonna blow up and then act like he don't know nobody.
But then Mitch takes the pry end of the hammer
Ugh.
and just rips up his jaw and his face. It's so gnarly and gross.
Oh.
And he seems to really like doing this too. So he's
Yeah.
like when he has such a normal voice most of the time, but all of a sudden he just turns into
Yeah.
like
Right.
So Seth Rogen's dead. He's him and Nurse Lady. I'm not gonna remember their names.
No idea. No idea.
Nate and Mallory are easy because we have friends with those names. So
Yeah.
we then get to see. Oh God, what do we get to see next?
So we had been with Harper, and the guy cut up to her and then said, "Who's Sam?" And then was like, oh, now I remember how she gets out of this. So he was like, "Let's see your mask," or "Let's see what's under your mask." And Nate wakes up after being dropped down through that trap door and finds a staple gun, and must have heard what was going on because he kind of is in the center of the whole big maze now. And
He's
runs
in the
up.
work area essentially.
And he runs up.
It was a nail gun, by the way.
Yeah, I said that.
You said staple gun.
Oh, I thought it was a staple gun.
No, it was a nail gun.
Was a
Staple
nail
guns
gun.
don't do that.
Oh, okay, fair. So he has a nail
Nail
gun.
guns don't really do that either, but that's fine.
And he runs up to the fence, and while the guy is about to get her, he shoots the guy with the staple or nail gun, and then she runs further into the maze. So we get to see the next room, which is basically a saw trap room.
Yeah, she has to. There's this bucket. It says "reach inside."
Oh, it's the reach inside room first. Sorry,
and it's this bucket full of like I don't know, dead animals.
that
and
we both
were just saying, flip the bucket. It's on some strings. Just flip the bucket.
Yeah,
But no, she reaches her whole hand in there
yeah,
and pulls
it's
out
just
the flashlight.
I'm like, girl, there's such an easy way around this, and she has no guts on her hand when she pulls it out. So I mean, it must have still been fake stuff.
Maybe
They're still playing into the haunted house thing a little bit here.
Well, the next room is immediately proven not fake.
Yeah.
And because it's full, I guess you could call it the saw trap room because it's just full of swinging blades from ropes, basically, just kind of dangling everywhere. Basically, if there was a haunted house based off of the fear of running with scissors, this would be what it looks like.
This would be the room, yeah.
But you get a nice little shot of a board of nails on the ground, and you already know where this is going.
Yep. But she just steps over it, so you have a little glimmer of hope there.
Yep. But then, unfortunately, she gets spooked by Dracula.
Yeah.
And runs back into it and steps right on that.
And then puts her hands down to like get her foot out of it.
It's like there's like some adhesive, extremely strong adhesive on the floor.
And then rips off the skin of her hands. And then she realizes there's a like trapdoor kind of thing with a whole bunch of blades on it, and Dracula is using a very dull knife.
Very dull. It was like a machete. Dull machete? For lamest.
To try to cut this string to make the trapdoor.
And he looks
go
so
down.
awkward when he's doing it because like she like has a flashlight. She's following it. She follows it down to like Mr. Dracula, and he's just like, and I think it's kind of a clue into his character a little bit.
And she just narrowly makes it through the trapdoor. And then we cut back to Nathan, and we see him kind of interact with the clown, and he uses her phone to text whoever's text was open, which was Sam, help with the location. And immediately I'm thinking, we cannot make the abusive boyfriend the savior of this movie.
And I'm immediately smiling because I know what's going to happen.
And I'm like, oh, God, that's so dumb. And anyway, he narrowly escapes that moment and finds the way outside.
Yep. But he basically is on his way to escape, and he knows, he hears, oh, she gets backed into the escape room.
Yeah.
Also, we keep getting glimpses of this hooded Grim Reaper figure, and he looks like he's definitely the final boss. Like, he's the big bad.
He looks like he got awakened.
He's the leader. Because he goes and so you're like, oh God, that must be the big guy. But she gets into the escape room. She can't read backwards.
It was very annoying because
they
kept having to pull out a compact mirror and turning around to read this backwards text.
Meanwhile, we're both there reading it backwards, like almost immediately, because it's not that hard.
Then it would cut away before I could read the whole thing, and then I'd get annoyed.
But she eventually finds the key in a little dollhouse, but unfortunately the devil man also finds her. And we get this like montage of her childhood, of her like dad coming into the room like, you don't have to hide from me. Like,
sometimes adults, they fight.
They do stupid things.
Yeah.
But then, so yeah, I guess they're trying to do some kind of
mesh there.
Moment. I don't know.
It doesn't work very well, and I don't
very
appreciate it.
But it gives her the strength, I guess, to stab him in the eye with the key. And then I love this little thing, because she goes to unlock the door and it starts playing Pop Goes the Weasel, and then boom. And that's why he realizes he has to go back in, because he hears the gunshot.
He hears the gunshot, yeah.
There's a Rube Goldberg fucking shotgun contraption on the other side of the door. But thankfully, it just nicked her. So she starts crawling under the gun, because it keeps cycling and going again and again and again.
It seems like, to me, she didn't realize that yet. She just was crawling on the ground because she got shot.
Yeah. Because then it fired again over her head, and that's when the devil man caught up, and he's like very mad about his eye getting stabbed.
He's like, you stabbed me in the eye? You hit me with a phone, you dick.
It's like, at the same time, why is he mad? Like, are you shocked? Oh my God, we're trying to kill people, and they fought back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, but
we just finished up watching Scream. This idea shouldn't be all that shocking to you.
He gets on top of her and he's just like strangling.
And so she finally realizes that the gun is on it's gonna keep shooting as soon as the music stops.
Yeah.
So she takes her finger and sticks it in his eye socket and gets him to look up, and then bam, shotgun gets him in the head. And then she immediately stands up.
Yeah, she just walks towards it.
And the music stops and it clicks. It's out of ammo.
Yeah, so lucky that was the last shot, I guess, but she could have still crawled.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's confusing.
Very.
But then the service lights come up, and then Mitch goes up to the big boss and goes, "Are you ready?"
Yeah.
And then the big boss does a big walk through the whole haunted house into the room that Harper's in. Then Harper immediately gets the jump on him and stabs him in the gut with a pitchfork. Problem, it was Bailey.
It was Bailey.
They did the old what movie did something similar? Oh God, I'm losing it. I'm thinking of a movie that did something similar and it's freaking me out.
Thought you were. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
It'll come to me. But yeah, she's all tied up under the costume and couldn't talk because she had tape over her mouth.
Yeah.
Um,
And she uses her like last words to be like, "They're coming for you."
and so
Harper just kind of like prepares herself in the back corner there, and we hear the chainsaw guy coming.
because there is no escape, by the way. It's a wall. It's a dead end.
Yeah, it's a it's drywalled off basically.
Yeah.
And then bam, Nathan comes in.
Good thing she wasn't leaning against the
Yeah.
the wall, or he would have just like knocked her out or killed her.
Yeah. He's using a sledgehammer to get through the wall. And she's trying to explain that someone's still coming. So he ends up getting tackled by Mitch in the middle of this while she's fighting off the chainsaw guy.
And in the struggle, she somehow gets to load another shell.
Yeah, she finds another shell on the floor and loads it. And in the struggle, this is so cool. She gets the chainsaw guy to like put the chainsaw guy like gets her trapped, and he starts sawing off the front of the shotgun, and then she just shoots it because now it's a sawed off shotgun, and it takes him out.
Yeah, it's like he's right in front of it once it's sawed off, and that doesn't kill him somehow. The one with the gun later was the zombie.
Really?
Yeah. That was his face.
How did that not knock him out?
I don't know. I guess maybe it just grazed him a little bit. Maybe a couple pellets got in. I don't know.
It's a sawed-off shotgun. His gut should have been all over the place.
Yeah, but think about it this way. If he was off to the side, then maybe only like one or two of the pellets hit him.
Yeah, could be. Weird.
But either way, Mitch is going to do his favorite thing again, which is the hammer teeth thing, and he keeps saying, "Well, don't you want to know my name?" He's really interested in telling these people the questions they had, like before he kills them. But thankfully, the sledgehammer go bok.
Yeah, because
she got through the wall.
Yeah. So they start to make their way out, and how did they end up at the top of the maze?
Well, that was their escape. Plan number one was getting out that way. And well, no, they run into Dracula.
Oh, that's right.
Dracula, he surrenders immediately. He takes it off. His face is completely normal.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just their errand. Guys, this is so fucked up. I didn't kill anybody. I swear.
I swear. I'm just here because I don't know, and
I don't know anything about them.
I didn't know that they were
artist.
I didn't know we were killing people, and then once I found out, I thought they were gonna kill me. So So
it's like basically like kind of a little cult, because they said if I kill someone, then I'll get my face.
Yeah.
So I guess he would have gotten all Draculaized.
Yeah. But then they're going through the front half of the maze, and he's like digging through a thing, and they're like, what are you doing? And he's like, they kept a gun in here. I know they kept a gun in here. I don't know where it is. And then bam, he gets shot in the head, and it's zombie guy.
Yeah, he's still alive. But then they like go to town on his arm with blades. And he just kind of goes, ah! He doesn't. He just seems more inconvenienced than in pain. But that's fine. But then they get to a ladder, back out to the roof.
Yeah.
And Nate gets out.
No, she gets out.
She gets out.
Nate's on his way out, and the witch steps on the top of the exit there. And how exactly did she get him?
Well, she was like, you think you're the only one who's gotten this far?
Yeah.
And starts walking towards her, and then like, as soon as she steps off of the
Nate pulls the thing.
I think
up
she
and
thought it
grabs
was
her by
just
her
her.
ankles.
I don't think she knew that Nate was still
that's
coming
right.
up.
That's what it was.
Because Nate comes up and grabs her legs and starts pulling her down, and then Harper takes the door and they start just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And that's when you get a glimpse that she just looks like an old lady now, I guess.
Like a characterized almost.
Like witch. Like
yeah.
more of a gross witch, I guess. I don't know. But so yeah, now witch is dead. So that leaves Clown and Chainsaw Guy, who is still alive, Chainsaw Zombie.
Yeah.
Because they get to the barbed wire fence, and Nate is letting her go first. He got his baseball bat from the car.
And a jacket.
So they put the jacket over the barbed wire, and they start climbing up, and then he sees the zombie is caught up.
Yeah, and he just squares up.
He just squares up.
And I go, dude, he's got a gun.
And then he just takes a bullet to the gut like a champ and then just starts whacking at him. Like, it kind of goes hard.
He does like a full baseball, like he just hit a home run with this guy's noggin.
So, yeah, he's dead.
We forgot to mention something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. So the boyfriend.
In the middle of all this, he makes it to the place and he starts to come in. And the clown guy's there and he's like, hey, I'm looking for somebody. And the clown just like comes up to him and...
No, he hits a tripwire and it shoots a bolt.
Like right, that's right. Like a bolt. Yeah, like a screw into his neck.
And the clown just comes over, looks at him on the ground. He doesn't even have to do this part, but he does. He picks up a cinder block and just drops it on his hand.
Yeah.
And then he like lines up his big mallet and just goes, boom. So yeah, the abusive boyfriend dies immediately. Yep. But he did serve a purpose. You know, maybe this kind of works out because we can get right into what his purpose was.
Yes.
Providing the getaway vehicle.
Yes. Because
they find his truck.
Yeah. Because after they get out, they climb over the barbed wire, they find the truck, and they drive off. They see an ambulance speeding by and get their attention. And he gets his whole Dewey moment of getting strapped into an ambulance, basically. And the only thing he's missing is going, Gail.
Yeah.
And, you know, we see him get off to a hospital and we see her come up to the door and knock on the door. And her mom's there, just like her dream. And then she sees the clown guy and wakes up.
And she's in the hospital.
It's giving Friday the 13th.
Nightmare on Elm Street?
No, Friday the 13th.
What?
The
boy him jumping out
ending
the river.
Sequence, yeah. Where
I thought you meant Nightmare because of the blow up doll thing.
Yeah, that's another. I guess both of those are references here.
Yeah, that's why I was like, no, you did mean Nightmare because both of them are applicable.
I was thinking Friday, but I said Nightmare, but both worked.
But yeah, she wakes up in the hospital, and then the nurse says, "We just need to sign some release forms."
And
that reminds her.
She remembers that they had to sign release forms for this haunted house, which include their parents' names and where they live. So she goes home and Home Alone's the clown guy.
Yeah, because the clown guy shows up. He's in civilian clothes, but he still has his clown mask on.
Yeah.
And he waltzes into the house. He steps on the sticky stuff, and it makes him fall onto the board of nails with his hands. And then he notices the shotgun, and Pop Goes the Weasel playing through her JBL speaker.
Yeah.
I guess use what you got. And then she says a corny line, blows his head off, and that's the movie.
Yeah.
Very abrupt, like the movie.
Yeah.
I forget what the corny. Oh yeah, she's like, now let's see your face.
Yeah. And yeah, that was it. That was Haunt. A nice spooky romp.
It's Halloweeny. Because I mean, I would say the first half is much more Halloweeny than the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Just because pumpkins and fall weather and, you know, costumes but it's not going to win any awards.
Definitely not.
it's definitely one of those you watch it once and you're like, oh, that was fun kind of movies.
And that's it.
So sorry to start Halloween month on kind of a mid note, but
It was spooky.
yeah, it was fun. It's a fun little Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween
God,
romp.
a little hiccup. So, do you want to answer some questions and maybe give some answers?
I would love to do some question and answering.
So, if you want to submit your own questions to the Q&A, you can go to discord.gg/JumperScape. You can join our community, talk with other like-minded folks, and overall just have a good time. So while we're getting those questions pulled up, I guess I'll do all my plugs.
Yeah, and also if you're thirsty, Glitch Energy.
Connor 141 at checkout. That's CONNOR 141. And hey, if you also like what we do here, want to see more, and want to get some neat little benefits out of it, you can go to patreon.com/JumperScape. That's how you spell it. And we'd love to we would love to see you there too. You got them up. Fair enough.
Thanks, Slippin' Kyle.
We will answer a lot of questions, but sometimes if they're getting a little repetitive, Kyle, slipstream. Gotta sometimes move on. So we're gonna.
I wanted to mention. How do I say his name again? The guy who only comments on Spotify.
Oh,
Kidorian. Dude, I couldn't fall asleep the other night, and so I went and read through all our comments. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart.
For your support.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. There was another thing I wanted to comment on, but I couldn't. It's like I woke up and I couldn't fall back asleep, but I had taken Benadryl, so it kind of feels like a Benadryl like fever dream that I did that. So I'll have to read through them again, and then maybe next week I can tell you what my thoughts on some of them were. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for that.
It's much appreciated.
Very much. All right, let's get to question and answering.
A regular. When I go to the movies, I do salt, no butter. I do not like butter on my popcorn. I feel like it makes it too much and it makes my tummy hurt. But if I had to go flavored popcorn, like if I'm excluding regular popcorn, I think my favorite that I've ever had was this like jalapeno cheddar popcorn that I got in Frankenmuth, Michigan.
I really like Flamin' Hot Cheeto popcorn. I have like an addiction to it. So.
Sorry.
I don't like movie theater popcorn. I can't eat it. It gives me a little rash around my face and makes my tummy upset. So I'm pretty sure I'm allergic to something in movie theater popcorn, unfortunately. Like regular popcorn, yeah.
It might be whatever kind of popping substance they use.
My guess is it's the oil. Although my family used to pop just popcorn, I think it's the butter. Yeah, it could be that too. Period. What is your favorite color?
Yeah, let's do that instead of
Purple.
Yellow. I like bellow.
Considering all the Skittles and M&Ms taste the same.
Yeah. Have you ever done the test of it's you like plug your nose and close your eyes and you eat the Skittles? Skittles are all flavored the same. They just have different colors and like I guess scents attached to them. Yeah.
Do I like eating food that's my favorite color?
Purple.
I don't know if I have any purple
Grapes. Do you like purple grapes?
I do like grapes.
Do you like raspberries?
Mm,
Do you
do-
like purple Heinz ketchup?
I think that like purple cabbage is good in like tacos,
Do you
like
like
a slaw.
grape flavored things?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that. We see things, guys. Best pink. Worst.
Best is pink. Worst is yellow. It tastes like pine sol.
Worst might be orange for me. I think it's orange.
Hmm. Top 5
Of
Halloween
of like
costumes?
what we've worn. Let's put that stipulation on there. That might be easier.
Instead of just like a general thing, like if you could dress up as
Yeah. I can
This is-
start if you need another second.
Yeah, you go.
Okay, so most of these are gonna be recent because recency bias, and also I've very recently hit the age of Halloween costumes are sexy instead of just being costumes. So my number 5 spot is when I was a child, I went as Darth Vader for Halloween. I was delighted to do so. Number 4, I'm gonna say I went as Loki for my freshman year of college. I didn't even go anywhere actually really with it. We did a charity fundraiser with my sorority, and I sat out there in a corset and pleather leggings and a little Loki headband on, and people were like, "Oh, you look so good." And I was like, "Yeah, but it's freaking 30 degrees outside and I'm freezing." Because Halloween was cold then. That brings us to number 3. Number 3 spot has to be last year. James and I went as Panakin. Padme and Anakin. And I was Padme. That was really cute. I actually really enjoyed that costume.
It was nice.
Number 2 is my Shrexy costume. I went as sexy Shrek my sophomore year of college.
Cheyenne can't contain herself with the Shrek-C comment.
The frats loved it. The frats adored it. I had these plaid colored leggings that I wore. The same green corset that I had for the Loki costume. I bought like professional like face, not like it was a face paint, but I like used it to contour instead of just being green. And then I like printed out little Shrek ears and I put them on clips and I put them in my hair. And I also had this like weird like BDSM collar looking thing that I wore on top. And that was the Shrexy costume, and the frats adored it. Adored it. I was not just a little girl. I was not just a girl who wore a skirt and some lingerie on top and put a tiara on and said, "Oh, I'm a princess." No, I was Shrek. And then number 1 is going to be this year's, which you'll find out.
Okay.
You already know his this year's.
So, this is still hard. Number 5. I'm going to have to go with in 2018, I did a pretty good Michael Myers. There's some good pictures of that I have. And there's a video of me chasing Austin around. Um, Number 4 is where I'm gonna put when I was a kid and I had what was essentially a Sully fucking fursuit with a face cut out. There's a picture. There's literal glamour shots from the mall of me dressed as Sully when I was like 5, like this, and I want to find it so bad. Number 3 is gonna go to a Panakin. Being Padme and Anakin last year was fun. My only regret is 1, I didn't have Anakin's hilt because I wasn't spending that kind of money. And 2, we kind of forgot to do the eye scar thing, and the pens thing that we used was too dark, so it just looked like a thin black line. And it doesn't even show up in any of the pictures.
No, it doesn't. It's all right.
But that's okay. Number 2 is this year, which you guys all saw if you watched the second Scream episode.
Yeah.
It's Ghostface. I wonder if you can figure out what Ashton's is this year.
Guess. I want you to guess.
And
I'll show you guys on the last episode of Spookter. I don't know.
Number 1 is a costume I did 2 years in a row, and it was the punk skeleton.
Oh yeah, that guy.
I did 1 year. My friend did a kind of realistic skull paint on my face. And the other year was a bit more like Day of the Dead. I'm not sure which one I liked more. They both looked really cool. But was really good for pictures, except I don't know if I'd do face paint again like that, because the thing that they don't tell you is how hard it is to drink when your lips are fully painted. Because man, the amount of times I didn't have enough feeling on my lips for a straw or a cup, and it would just kind of like dribble down my face and then wash away the paint, was annoying.
You didn't have enough feeling on your lips?
I don't know how else to describe it.
What kind of face paint were you using?
Here's the thing. I might have been allergic.
You're still supposed to be able to feel your lips.
It should not do anything to the feeling in your lips.
Well, okay. I don't know how to describe it, but it wasn't even listen. It wasn't even that I couldn't feel it. It was that like I think I was overthinking it. Every time I would drink, I'd be like, I wouldn't want to mess up my makeup. And because I was overthinking it, I would be really careful, and that would lead to just like happening. And I didn't.
Man discovers what it feels like to wear lipstick to an event.
Yeah. I know that sounded concerning, and I also probably was a little allergic to it because it kind of burned at first.
What? You're sure it was face paint?
Yeah.
You're sure it was not paint not meant for your face?
It was from Spirit Halloween.
That doesn't help.
It was face paint. It was labeled face paint.
I have
Yeah.
And that's all I think it was. Is it was just my face did not like being painted, but I liked how it looked. I took some good pictures.
your top 5.
Yeah, that was number 1. Halloween.
Halloween.
What kind of question is that? Oh, I like all of them. Haunts are a must. I have to do at least one haunted house. Theme park not included. Halloween weekends though, so putting that in. We love going to Halloween weekends at Cedar Point.
Yeah. To be fair, this is only our second Halloween together, so we don't have together our own like form traditions.
Yeah.
And my family, when I was little, like 5 or 6, we moved from like a neighborhood to just a house on a street that there was no trick-or-treating. So Halloween pretty much fell off for us by the time I was in 1st grade. I mean, we still dressed up. We went to like Bueller's and did their trick-or-treat, and we would go to my like aunt's house. And when I was in middle school, I'd go to friends' houses. But so Halloween traditions, not really a big thing for me before now, I guess. Haunts have made their way into every Halloween of mine since I started going to college. We went on this haunted dredge boat attraction because I went to school in Cincinnati, and there's, you know, the Ohio River there, and they have dredge boats there, and there was a haunted one.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. So since then, I've gone to haunts every year. So I guess those are my favorite tradition as well.
Yep. And I will throw, I love going to the pumpkin farm, getting a pumpkin and carving it.
I hate carving pumpkins.
I know.
I love the result. I hate touching ooey gooey pumpkin guts. That's the other thing. That was the other thing that was in the bag at like my school's
pumpkin guts.
Reach in. They'd put pumpkin guts in it and say it was just like intestines or something. Yeah.
At some point, there has to be
happen sometime.
Yeah, there has to be enough interest, honestly, because it's not cheap. Like, I'm sure some people would buy it, but I want it. I just don't know when that's going to happen. We don't have any plans for it right now.
We do. I do think we need to have a shirt that says, I'm demonically possessed, not demonically depressed. Is that what it was?
No, it was I am demonically depressed.
Yeah.
That was the joke we made on here one time. Instead of demonically possessed, is demonically depressed.
Yeah. I think because I'd wear that.
I'm demonically depressed.
I feel like I need to print that on a shirt for myself.
Yeah, well, that's all the time we have here today, folks.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for Halloween.
Yay, me too.
Our first October with this show existing. So,
yeah.
Man, thank you all for joining us for the ride, and I'm excited for the rest of October. You'll just have to see what we have in store.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us this evening, stranger. If you enjoyed your time with us, please consider supporting us at patreon.com/JumperScape or join the community at discord.gg/JumperScape. We thank you for your listenership and hope you enjoyed.